Hello everybody, it's back with the Sunday mandala coloring here with Anya Keister. So I have another fun spooky picture here, kind of silly spooky, but we're gonna get with coloring this. So I did this last week and I had a great time doing it. So we're gonna do this again. As I said last week, one of the important things to note with mandala coloring from an art therapy standpoint is you just let your colors come out as they are. Don't try to premeditate or judge what they need to be. Nothing is wrong when coloring. If you want it to color along, I'm gonna just quick throw this artwork up on my Twitter. I am at Anya Keister. So if you wanted to print one and follow along, I'm gonna put that up there right now. But remember, when you're doing this, you don't have to do the same thing that I am coloring. That's actually the whole point, is that you should be doing what you want to do. Let the colors choose themselves as you go. That's part of it. It's always wild to see what happens when you're not trying to premeditate any of this stuff. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start coloring then. Okay. I'm going to start with the pumpkins though, because I do want to make those orange. And with all of these videos, I also upload them onto my YouTube afterwards. So if you are watching along and if you're watching from my YouTube, hello, YouTube subscriber. If you are following right now live on Twitch and you need to leave early, remember you can always go find it on my YouTube where you can rewatch it there. Sorry if I'm blocking the camera, I always forget. Okay, yeah, I decided I'm going to start doing this every Sunday, just both so that if you enjoy it and you want to follow along, you can know that I'll be doing this every Sunday. If you yeah, you can just follow along at home, knowing that I think I'm gonna keep trying for this 7:30 Eastern Standard Time frame, so that all my friends on the East Coast, it's not too late for them, but it's also not too early in the day for me. And that way it also is keeping me to a good schedule. As I talked about last time I did this, mandala coloring was always a really therapeutic thing for myself when I was an art therapist. Running sessions is always one of my favorite ones. So it's nice to be able to do it here. Sorry it's showing so blue on the screen. I'm trying to use the natural light today. last time I did it with artificial light, and I felt like it was really skewing the colors, but this one I feel is also really skewing it. Yeah. One day I'll find the right mix. Okay, good start. We got them pumpkins. Now let's work on these bats. And remember, there's no right or wrong when doing this. It's just coloring as is. As I talked about last time, one of the interesting things is you can print out multiples of the same design, especially one that's a little bit more abstract, and you just print it out, hide after you finish coloring it, put it away, and then just do the same one every week, and you'll be astonished how it changes slightly week to week. If you just let the intuitive coloring, just choosing in the moment what you feel is right, it can be astonishing how things come out. Like I said, remember, nothing's wrong with any of the choices you make. It's just how you're feeling at the moment. I remember even last week I did one and then I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this color. And then I ended up really loving it. So you just go along. You don't know. And different colors can speak to us at different times. And it's completely valid. This week is a little bit more specific because it's, you know, it's pumpkins and bats. Last week was a ghost design, so I feel it was a little less obvious what we would feel these colors should be. But remember, the shoulds don't matter. If you wanted to color your bats pink, you totally could. That'd be fine. It's completely up to you. One of the nice things about coloring is it's very low stakes. You know, if you make a mistake, oh well. It's a piece of paper. And you can always reprint it later and do it differently. So it's okay to make like little jumps. Try out something new. Go with a thing that you wouldn't normally think. If you wanted to have green pumpkins, go for it. If you wanted to have purple pumpkins, go for it. None of it's wrong. And another thing, I mentioned this last time as well. Keep in mind that it's also okay to keep things with no color in them. I think a lot of times we feel pressure that if it looks like there's something that needs to be filled in, that we need to fill it in. Don't feel that. You can totally leave something white or leave something unfilled in. It's fine. Maybe that's what it needs. Or maybe you come back later and you fill it in. Who knows? It's totally fine to wait on a thing. Like I said, low stakes. You know, you don't color it, you finish doing everything else, and then you come back to it maybe. I wish I had a light purple. I don't think I do. So we're just gonna really light touch here. Yeah, that feels good. Another thing, and I should have mentioned this earlier on too. You don't have to use colored pencils to color this in. You can use crayons, you can use markers, you can use whatever you want. Charcoals or pastels might be a little messy with this specific design. I prefer the precision of a colored pencil, which in the world of art therapy means has specific meaning to it in its analysis, but I prefer the precision of a colored pencil, and I like that I can control the how hard it is or how soft I use to the touch. Okay, so what colors for everything else now? What colors are speaking to me? Oh, I know. I think I want to do a blood moon. Also, if you're watching and you find a really nice mandala, especially ones that are kind of like Halloween themed, I just want to keep it as a circle. For me, I feel it's very important that the mandala is circular and symmetrical in its nature for a lot of its meditative purposes. But if you find a good one, feel free to tweet it at me or tag me on Instagram. I'm at Anya Keister. And let me see it because I'm always looking for good ones. I don't want anything too complicated or precise because then it is hard for people who are using crayons to color along. But if you find a nice one that's spoopy, I need, I think there's 2 more Sundays in October. Oh, that's interesting. The moon switched directions there. Oh, that's cool. So it's like this mirror imagery. I hadn't even noticed that. That is interesting. Yeah, I'm liking this blood moon. I think last one I didn't use any red because at that time I was not feeling the red. I felt it was a little too strong and a little too dramatic for how I was feeling at the time. But today is definitely a day where I feel good about making a strong statement in red. Yeah, nice. I like coloring these inner parts a little bit darker too, for a little bit of depth. That's true, Kiwi. It is interesting. For those of you who don't see the chat, Kiwisaurus mentioned that it's weird that the moons are mirrored, but that the pumpkins aren't. If you notice, all the pumpkins have stems kind of going out of their right side. Those are all the same, but the moons are mirrored. It's interesting. I don't know who made this one. I just found it online. So I don't know if there is something specific. As to why they decided to do it that way. I don't know if any of you out there are coloring along or are big colors, but there's something to me that's so satisfying about when you color on one edge for a while on a colored pencil, it's a crayon as well, that it starts to get dull, and then you just slightly turn it and you have that really nice, sharp, precise point. It's very fulfilling to me. It's nice to know, like, even if it's getting dull, sometimes if you just slightly alter your position, things can feel sharp and in focus again. Art therapy. Last week was like almost all soft colors, and I think it's really interesting for me that this week I'm going pretty strong on the shades. think. I think I want to keep the middle a little white, but let's give a little bit of shading here, some depth to it. That's nice. Gonna add just a little bit more depth there. Go a little bit darker in the crux of the stars. A little bit more of a three-dimensional aspect. Oh, that looks nice. I'm just kind of looking on the screen every now and then, so. Okay, what next? What is speaking to me here? Okay. We're gonna call back to this purple here. I think since last week I felt a lot about doing something every other, and I was kind of so against it, and then I ended up really liking it at the end. I think I'm gonna do these every other as well. Let's see. Well, maybe I should have mirrored them. Oh well, we're gonna do this. Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. I'm trying to figure out if these, they could just be shapes, but to me they're reading a lot as flames. And I think I kind of want to color that way too. So I'm going to be using the orange out here. And then I'm thinking yellow in this area. So I'm just trying to figure out what a good balance is for in there. I used the blue for in here. And I feel like that would be too much blue for me. Maybe we'll do... We're going to do the purple. Nice tie-in from the bats. Maybe I think I'm gonna do a mirror. I'm normally very much about the cyclical nature and the circle of it, but you know what? I'm kind of feeling this, like, now that I know these two moons are mirrors. This is wild, everybody. Those Anya Keys are letting loose and breaking symmetry. Oh, the green actually looks really nice against the other greens. You know, I didn't think I'd bring a seafoam in here, but it's calling to me. This last color. What's it gonna be? That brick red, but really light, so it looks different from that shade. I'm so sorry the screen is so blue. I think what it is that since I'm using natural light and then we got a lot of snow today, it's just a real blue outside. The sky's really gray, so we're getting all of that. Okay, I'm excited to use, what was it? I had like a golden shade. There we go. I'm gonna go darker yellow on the outside. I think I use I like looking at these as candles, even though that's not what I originally saw them as. Oh, sorry if I'm blocking. I always forget. I get really into the coloring and I forget that I might be blocking the screen from the camera. So my apologies. And now we're going to use the lighter yellow to fill that in. Give a little bit of richness. I kind of really like that being the thing that stands out the most. I might go in and darken the middle so that the star and the flames are the brightest. Nice. Yeah. Okay. My cat's outside. He's very sad that he's locked out right now. What's nice is because the flame connects here, it also does give you the option to kind of switch these colors. Yeah. So I could have done these as a mirror of this now that I look at it. That'd probably be a cool way to do it. This has been really interesting for me because I'm trying to, like I said, go with kind of a gut reaction for my color choices, and instinctual, what feels right in the moment, intuitive. That's the word I was looking for. I was trying to do intuitive coloring, but I'm also kind of like really enjoying the idea of going against what, for me personally, I kind of want to like go against what I sometimes believe these things should be. I do really enjoy the folksiness of this light brown. I used it a lot last week as well on the ghosts. And I am really enjoying it. Light brown isn't normally a color that I would be super into. I am enjoying it as like a space filler because it's just soft and very neutral and almost like a very natural passive color. See if I just do it so it's like a little space around each moon. I kind of like using that negative coloring. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna color in on the moons. I like them having that little bit of like a glow to them. Wow, the colors are so distorted on the screen. I'm sorry, everybody. So now we're just left with the ring. Now what do we color the? Oh, I did want to go in though and make these stronger. Because I colored the middle really strong and I feel like really kind of containing that star is a nice touch. Giving it that really strong bold color next to this kind of like soft blue shading. There we go. And let's also let's go in and color this a little bit stronger too. It's amazing how much a strong bold color really just changes the look of everything. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. Now I want to go give the moons a little bit more. A little bit more definition. Yeah, it makes such a difference. That's the same, you know, you can always come back and revisit these things later. I thought a soft moon was what was needed, but seeing that like the strength of them is pretty nice. Maybe I just want to have some of them be strong and let these ones be softer. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's kind of nice too. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just have those. Here's the decision. I'm going to use this red to go the outside, around the outside. So to balance out the strength of that star in the middle. Oof. Yikes. The red is quite a bold statement. It's interesting with the dark in the middle and then the bold of this, it's really making me feel imbalanced with how light the outside items are. So I think I'm going to go in and just darken the pumpkins. Because it just really, it feels so imbalanced. Yeah, I'm going to color the pumpkins darker. But I'm going to use a lighter orange to do it. Sorry, I'm just seeing your notes there, Kiwi. It does have a little bit of a Soviet star, doesn't it? Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what I was kind of bringing in when I saw it. Just the iconography of the bright red star. Yeah, that bold pumpkin makes a difference, I think. I think it's kind of balancing things out then. Right? Do you see how much of a difference, like comparing this side to this side? For me, this feels so much stronger with just bringing out the strength of that. Okay, let's finish this up. I think once I finish these pumpkins, we will be all good then. And the last one. I mean, I feel like the bats could be darker, but I kind of wanted to keep them soft. These goofy little bats on the outside. And so once again, if you end up printing one out and coloring one yourself, I'd love to see how yours looks. You can always tweet it at me and let me know. I'm just going to come in and also really darken this part. You know, see, I thought I was done. Little did I know. And let's darken that pink as well. Little mistake, it's okay. No mistakes, just changing up what's happening. Yeah, that's nice. I think the darkening made a good difference. Okay, there we go. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, feeling good about this one. So here we go. Here is our finished little spooky Halloween mandala. Interesting that I suddenly got very fixated on going dark in the middle, but we started outside in, and that's going to be it. So I'll hold it up a little bit more too. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you colored along, or if not, I hope you just enjoyed the talk and the sound of it. But, ooh, sorry, I was holding it out of frame. I'm on like a slight delay because of There we go. I think this is better. Or I'll just leave it on the ground so you can see it. But that's going to be it then. So thanks for following along. And if you, like I said, if you colored, I'd love to see it. So you can tweet it. I'm at Anya Keister, just like my Twitch handle. And I'll see you around next time. Okay, everybody. Bye.